What's happening? Facebook Live, Positivity Posse. Thank y'all so much for coming every Saturday and Sunday to just get some of this positivity on you, y'all. We had a great show at 11 o'clock Pacific this morning with Larry Dotson of the Bar-Kays, the lead singer Larry Dotson of the Bar-Kays, sharing his wisdom, sharing his insight, sharing his funk, you know. Much respect to Larry Dotson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just start it like this. I'm going to say 186,000 and counting followers on Instagram. First thing.
Wow.
Next thing, on Facebook, over 500,000 followers on Facebook. And that's none other than the gentleman you see over here at the camera, Mr. David A. Arnold.
What's up, dog?
Thank you so much, man.
Man, I'm so happy to be there. And might I say, those little bit, people might be hearing that going, that ain't no whole lot of followers, but I did it in 16 months.
Exactly.
That's what's crazy to me. And hold on, this is another thing. I just got on TikTok, right?
Okay.
Literally 14 days ago. I'm at 35,000 followers on TikTok. My daughters are pissed because they've been on for years. And I done ran circles around both their little legs. So I come in the living room going, I'm TikTok famous. Now what? Right.
Well, you know what though, man? I'm such a dinosaur at this thing, and I gotta thank you, man. You taught me how to navigate this whole media thing, and we're gonna get into that a little later about how it really helped to construct your visibility and your platform.
Yeah.
But and my nephews and my co-producer here, Wendy Vaughn, you all have been teaching me that I just found out what a TikTok is. Maybe literally last month. I didn't know. I just saw people dancing and doing their thing, you know. But now that's the next one. Let me get past his Instagram. Then Facebook.
Let me shut down my MySpace page, and then I'll have room for TikTok. Give me a minute.
Exactly. You know what, Dave, when you hear those numbers, brother, and I want to give a shout out right now to a gentleman that I met through you, the incredibly funny and down-to-earth Anthony Hill, okay? Much respect to Anthony.
Oh, my God.
You know, his journey.
Yeah.
But going back,
wow.
pre these numbers we just mentioned, brother, when you hear those and see those now, what goes through your mind?
What goes through my mind when I hear the social media numbers and knowing that I've collected that in less than 2 years. It goes back to the moment when 3 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago, some executives at a television network canceled my TV show and told me I wasn't marketable. Was the reason that they were canceling my show. And that hurt me. And I sat on the couch for 2 months. And my wife was like, you can't just sit here. You got to get your ass up and you got to keep moving. Right. And that's when I picked up my phone and I started posting my videos and my rants and my, all the stuff that you've seen on there. And to go, I feel like the second week that I got on Facebook, I've been on Instagram and Facebook, but I got on there with a purpose, which was to build a following. Mm-hmm. So when I hear those numbers, it reminds me of when someone told me I wasn't marketable. And 2 weeks after picking up my Instagram, post, after 2 weeks of starting the post with a purpose, they went internationally viral. And like my pages have my Facebook page and my Instagram page, they get translated now into like 5 different languages in different countries around the world, which I didn't even. So, dude, it lets you know that, work. And if you want to do something, all you got there, this makes it less and less reasons for excuse of not to be able to do something. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you can create and do stuff at home. You can create you can build an empire just at home.
Exactly. And Dave, much respect for that, brother. Much respect, because if I'm not mistaken, you are one of the first celebrities that actually took this social media thing, and if not the first, one of the most influential celebrities on the social media roster that has kicked it up a notch. Has like, and in your sense, why are the people clamoring to you like they are?
I think that it's the relatability of the stuff I do. Everything I do is about my family, my kids, my relationship. You know, I don't do a lot of pop culture stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Even in my stand-up, if you looked at my stand-up before I was married and had kids, it was all about my family. Like, it's always been my wheelhouse.
Right.
And I feel like people relate. Everybody relates to that. Black, white, young, old, rich, poor. Everybody relates. Everybody got family. Everybody got husbands and wives or relationships. Everybody got kids or they've been a kid. So I feel like because that's my wheelhouse, everybody responds to it. And then the social media platforms have become an extension of my voice and stand-up. Like, you know, like I told you, I just got on TikTok and I've just been watching for 2 weeks. Every day, I just been watching to see what people respond to. Okay. I got one video up on there. It's pushing 1 million views already in less than 10 days.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like me just watching going, this is what they respond to in this world. And I'm going to create that in this world. In Instagram, they respond to this. On Facebook, they respond to this. So I'm learning that, and people are responding, and, you know, and the shit is funny.
Yeah, exactly. and I mean, that's about it. It's we can identify with it, and it's funny because now that takes me. It's almost like you're looking at my notes here, brother. But it's like the next step I was going, man. Well, it's because you do this so much, right? You can know where this flow is going pretty much. But I'm also, you know, curious. That brought up a point here that your comedy is relatable. Your message is relatable to family, to single people, because you make flashback references in your comedy as well. You know, single days. We can relate as parents. We can relate as children. You know, growing up about our parents and what life itself. Now, with that and the ups and downs, even when something day to day ain't funny to us, you can turn it into a situation out of your own thing, and now we got something to laugh about in our own situation. What is it about comedy that turns that around? What is it about comedy? I think,
you know what it is? I think comedians, we have been given the blessing and the curse of seeing life through a lens that regular civilians don't see life through. And here's the thing. The more tragic something seems to be, the quicker we will find comedy in it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like, I see stuff differently. Everybody goes, oh my God, I'm locked down. And comedians see, oh, we in here together. We about to find out who really in love. We about to find out who really with their soulmate. We about to find out if you really like your kids. Everybody go, oh, I don't have no favorite. I love both my kids the same. Well, when this lockdown is over, you're going to one of them got to go. You know what I mean? You just get better and better at seeing life through, like little things that you never thought of. You know, comedians see that. Yeah. And I feel like that's why we can take something as small as, you know, not folding towels, bath towels the correct way. And I can do 10 minutes off of how I've asked these people to fold these towels in this house so that they match and that they stack a certain way in the linen closet. Disrespect, none of them do it. They ball the shit up, they throw it. They just, none of them. And that, the lack of respect of the way I've asked you to fold these goddamn towels is the reason that I'm going on my 17th walk for the day.
Come on now.
So I don't kill nobody. This is what I'm dealing with.
But hey, exactly. I mean, that's my point exactly, brother. I mean, it's like, and especially on your family, you know, you've to us it is unplanned. It's not scripted, though we feel. Right. You know, your family, I mean, there may be a general, I don't know how you put it together, but from the outside looking in, as one of the hundreds of thousands of viewers that enjoy it on a daily basis.
Right.
My brother.
Right.
It's to us, we're like, man, this shit is for real. This is what I'm dealing with right here. Or this is what made you want to bring your family? And I know you've always loved, bringing your family even before you were married and had kids. But what is it about this nucleus of the Arnold dynasty right now that you think people are drawn to?
I think because it's transparent and it's real. It's not scripted. It's like the stuff that you guys see and the things that I post on Facebook and Instagram, it is 100% in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. There's times when we'll be doing something and we'll just be in the moment. And in the moment, one of the kids or Julie or I will say something funny. Yeah. And we realize it's funny in the moment. And if for some reason we don't get that line clean, right, we will go, no, go back and do that. Say that again.
Okay.
We need and they'll do it again. And so I can get it.
Yeah.
But nothing is planned. Nothing. I just posted a video this morning about me and Julie arguing about debating about the leftovers in the house.
Okay.
And how they should be, they should be dealt with. And it's just in the moment. Like I can see a conversation happening and we just, step. There's Ashley. I can see, close the door all the way. Close the door all the way. You see what I'm saying? She brought her new ass in here. And the door was closed when she came in. What makes you walk out and leave the goddamn door wide open? This is what I'm talking about.
Hey, wait a minute now. I got to make sure y'all know too. As long as Dave and I go back.
Oh my God.
40 years. This was not planned either. To see that cute little baby girl face jump on there,
no,
not planned. Thank you for coming to our big baby girl. That's
Ashley is.
But you know what? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, and I think that kind of stuff is what people are drawn to because it's really us. Yeah. And I don't know. I think Julie for a long time was like, "We not funny." I don't know why people are laughing at this because we not funny. I'm like, you might not be funny.
Yeah.
God damn it, I'm funny. You understand? What do you think is going on around here?
But to me, brother, being an artist where music is my outlet, of artistry.
Yes.
Comedy, in no doubt, is an art. The art of comedy. Comedy
it is. No
matter what. Okay, now educate us. We hear Black comedy. We hear Asian comedy. These are the genres and labels that are given. We hear white comedy. We hear comedies of different cultural arenas, right? Yes, there's difference in life.
Right.
There's difference in what we go through. But over the whole umbrella of comedy itself, what is that theme that crosses the cultural lines of comedy? What is that theme, or is there a theme? What is the breakdown of comedy that makes comedy across the board for a comedian to stand up in those arenas?
Well, I think that the thing that cuts through, and again, the answer is like kind of the same. I feel like that thing that cuts through all, racial lines and all of that stuff is, I feel like it's when you touch on things that everybody can relate to, when it's more relatable, and it just hit me like Bill Cosby built an entire career and his biggest thing was family. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like, I feel like a lot of people, that's why when I perform, it's not just Black or white or, in the beginning when a comedian starts off, I feel like our community comes out and maybe gets hold of us in the beginning. But then as your profile starts to rise, other people start to jump on and go, oh, wait, he's funny to everybody. He's talking my language. And I'm a white guy with 2 daughters in Nebraska. I get it. This guy's, and that's what's dope about my social media is I get a chance to see people who are of all walks of life. Exactly. That 100% hit me up and like, dude, this stuff you doing, it's like you got a camera in my house.
Exactly. That's it.
People say that all the time.
And your stand-up itself, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, you are missing out. Netflix trending comedy special, Fat Ballerina.
Yes.
David, much respect on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
Once again, Netflix right now, Fat Ballerina trending. And the reason that back in the day in the music industry, we used to say with a bullet. You did. And nowadays it's called trending. And I had to get it. My son said, Dad, it's the same thing y'all used to say. It means it's with a bullet. That means it's rising up.
Rising with a bullet. Yeah.
Now, even with the stand-up and the Netflix special, you've been doing the stages for years. You went into a bit of how you started in this thing. Your beginnings, Dave, where were your fears and when were they alleviated? First started, brother?
Wow, that's a great question. When I first started doing stand-up, my biggest fear was that Black people would not think I was funny.
Come on.
And it was because I built my comedy chops on the road for 2 years. And on the road, when you're traveling the country, 90% of the comedians that I was because I was just an opening act. I was a feature act. I was doing 25 minutes in front of whoever the headliner was that week. 85% of them were white. So that means that 85% of the rooms that I did were white, unless I got lucky enough to open up. I remember once it was Jamie Foxx, once it was Lavelle Crawford, once it was Steve Harvey. There was a couple other, but like most of the time they were white people. So my act was built and my comfortability was built in front of, white people. When I moved to LA, which is supposedly the liberal town, Los Angeles and New York, it was very segregated in the comedy. And I was very shocked that they had Black comedy night and other nights. It was like, at the Laugh Factory, Sunday night was Chocolate Sundays, and Monday night was Mo Better Mondays at the Improv, and Tuesday night at the Comedy Store was Fat Tuesdays. And that's where all of the Black comedians performed. And for me, when I first got here, I was like, I don't think these Black people gonna like me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have no confidence. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, they wouldn't even let me perform in those rooms. The people, I would be in all the other rooms, but the Black crowds were my Achilles heel. So what I did is I knew that I had that phobia, that fear, that insecurity, that lack of confidence. So I went to other Black nights that were not as high profile, and I worked out. Rodney Perry had a night at the Hollywood Park Casino. Cat Williams had a night at the Hollywood Park Casino. These was in the hood. These was under the radar. These was like, right? And I went every week. Wow. And every week I went, I took it in the face. I would struggle. I would not be laughed at. I would be heckled. But I went back every week because I knew that I could not be funny or not be confident in front of any group. And as I just got better and better and better, the very clubs and the nights like Chocolate Sundays that never would even let me in, I ended up being the second host of that night. I ended up being, so like those very rooms that they wouldn't let me in, they asked me, would you come and be the face of this show? So it's just time and just getting on stage again and again and again. I've been doing stand-up for 24 years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's dope. It's funny to watch people. A lot of people still don't know who I am. And it's great that people, I did an interview with a brother yesterday out of New York. He had never heard of me before. And he found me because Netflix suggested that he should watch Fat Ballerina. And he liked the name. And he was like, I don't even know who this dude is, but fuck it, I guess. And he said 3 minutes in, he started looking me up and was like, dude, will you do an interview with me? And so like, it's work. It's literally because of the work that I've done of going on stage and failing, of being booed, being heckled, and not letting that turn me around, but letting that inspire me and motivate me to get better and figure out why and how. And now it don't matter. It don't matter who you are.
Exactly. See there?
It don't.
See, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this honesty and this real, and one thing about Dave Arnold, you're gonna get the real. And one thing he just let us know right now is, if there was any question about paying dues, this brother just laid it out point blank, chronological about paying dues in this industry. And when you mentioned, Dave, about the industry then, when you started 24 years ago, the industry now with the in-if of social media, OG means that whatever game you've been into, you've seen that game change. You've been there when it was one way and you've seen it change.
Yes.
That's the same thing. So your status in this game, right? What have you seen change as far as the way the industry and getting yourself out there has been? Or just the industry itself? How's the public accepting it?
Well, you know what? The biggest way that I've seen it change is in the fact that, like I said, with social media has changed the game. Like before, it was like, oh, how many TV credits do you have? How many this? Now, with being a television producer, one of the things that I realized when we're looking at actors and people that they want to bring in, the first thing they do is look you up on social media. They want to see what your social media presence is. When I was developing, that was the thing that made me that was what made me focus on my social media when I lost my TV show, because one of the things that they said back then 3 years ago, they was like, you ain't got no social media presence. Like, you got 1,500 followers. Like, because I was in that mentality of, if I do the work, I will get people's attention, and then they can find me on social media. Because, there's some celebrities that have millions of followers, but they don't be on social media. They just a celebrity, so people follow them. Then there's people who organically build an audience. Today, social media is almost a necessity.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, it's because, and here's the thing: you sing, you rap, you act, you're a comedian. I can reach 500,000 people right now just with this. Yeah. I ain't never stood on stage in front of 500,000 people. Never.
Gotcha.
But when I go live, there's times when I have 5,000, 12,000 people that are watching me right here. So when I come on and I do my thing, it's got a chance to create some waves and some energy out there. So that's the biggest difference between now and when I first started. You got social media, which literally makes it limitless to what you can do if you do the work. And if the work you're doing is really good, you're going to find out.
There you go. You're going to find out. I got you, man. I got you. It's like you said, I remember that's one of the things you told me, man, a couple of years ago. You were like, hey, man, I can push this button and I'm instantly there. I'm instantly here. To the public that is sitting there welcoming that comedy, welcoming that frame of mind, you dig? And I want to take you to this, Dave. Dave, if I remember, said, I can teach you to be funny, but I can give you, no, I can't teach you to be funny, but I can give you the roadmap to what you need to do. And this is an advice that you give your comedy class students. Now, teaching comedy, teaching comedy, and if I'm not mistaken, you are, if not the number one, your class, but it's up there with as far as teaching, the students of comedy. Now, with that advice you give them, I can't teach you to be funny, right? But I can give you the roadmap. Break that down for me, brother.
I will go on record and say I'm definitely the number one stand-up comedy class.
There you go.
I know I've been doing it on and off for 11 years. My assistant told me the last time we checked, well over 300 something people on the waiting list, which I don't know how we get to them because we only do 20 people a time. But I tell people this: you can't teach anybody to be funny. It's like me teaching. It's like a dancer. I can't give you rhythm, but I can show you the routine.
Gotcha.
Now, if you got rhythm, you're going to catch on to the routine.
Right.
But if you ain't got no rhythm, it's going to be bad.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's nothing I can do for you.
Exactly.
You don't need your left foot from your right. I need you to lead. So like, as a comedian, you realize that I can't teach you to be funny. I can't give you that thing that moves that filter that makes shit pop into your head and pop out of your mouth. I can't give you that.
Yeah.
But if you have that thing, I can show you I can point you in the direction you should go with this thing that you have. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that has been the thing that I live by. When I first came to town and I heard people, comedy class, I was like, you can't teach nobody to be funny. And for years, people were saying to me for years, because comedians, we stand around and we talk comedy. I love talking comedy because I love the art. And comedians, I used to get emails on my Facebook page of comedians going, if you ever taught that talk tonight that we had outside the Laugh Factory, outside the Comedy Store was dope about comedy and your insight on it. And they're like, if you ever decided to teach a class, I would take it. And I'm like, no goddamn class. I'm not. And the reason I wouldn't teach a class is because they say those who teach because they cannot do. That's always been the philosophy about artists or people who teach an art. Singers, musicians, you teach because you didn't make it. And I let that play on my ego for a long time.
Okay.
And then I realized one day that it was ego. And then I realized that I could change that narrative. I teach not because I can't do. I teach because I do, and I do well. So I'm in a position to tell you what to do because I'm showing you how to do it. And I think that's the reason why the class is so successful. And because it comes from my chest. It don't come from a space of needing money, wanting your money. It comes from a place of, I moved to Los Angeles with 2 addresses to 2 comedy clubs, 2 trash bags of clothes, and that was it. I didn't know anybody in this business to come help me and show me and tell me what to do. So I just walked out there and just started doing whatever I thought I should do. And I did some stuff was great and some stuff wasn't. But because I realized if I had somebody to help me, it would have maybe saved me some time. So that's why I started teaching this, just so I could help point people in the right direction. And because I love the art.
There you go. Right on. Right on. Now, people don't know, you mentioned the humble beginnings your humble Hollywood beginnings that you mentioned there.
Yeah.
And the perseverance, the drive, what you had to do to learn this craft. And in time of learning the craft, you learn in the industry. You learn in the you learn the ups, the downs. Who is this? Who to stay away from, who to go, what have you. With that, Dave, a lot of the comedians I've known over my lifetime. I mean, going back to the late '70s, and I'm not a name dropper, but there've been some incredible names of comedians over my life I've had privy to be in close communication with. Yeah. And one thing that, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them have said to me was that, Vic, comedy comes from a place of pain for comedians. Not to say it's across the board, but for a lot of times, from how it was described to me, that the comedy content that we as the audience listen to and may identify with or do identify with, how true is that either in your personal lifetime or as a general statement for someone to make that comedy, it's funny or it relates because it comes from a place of that comedian's pain in their life?
Oh man, I believe that real comedy, I believe that comedy that stays with you comes from that place. It doesn't mean that every piece of comedy has to come from that place. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who built comedy who have no pain and it's just Jerry Seinfeld. Okay. One of the most, successful comedians of our time, one of my favorites, is all about observation. It's all about his way of looking at, you know, the ice cream man or the women's lip liner. It doesn't seem to come from a place of pain. It seem to come from a place of a narcissistic outlook on life, of just seeing shit through a lens that I was telling you that other people don't have. Very successful. So not everybody comes from that space. Richard Pryor, he does. Like Bill Cosby said about Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor had the audacity to find comedy in places that comedy should not belong. Gotcha. And some people have that. I feel like I have a hybrid of Bill Cosby and Richard Pryor for me, because I definitely have those dark places, and I definitely have those lighter places. That kind of, like if you saw my last Netflix special where I do the dance, I ain't got nothing to do at work, and I do, that's from a place of me being a silly ass. You know what I'm saying? But then there's other places that comedy comes from. When you were asking me this question, this feeling came over me of pure excitement about this next stand-up special that I'm about to do. Okay. Because I'm going to go to the places of that pain and tell those stories that I've never done before. But what I'm excited about is that I'm finally at a place as a storyteller to be ready to tell these stories. I'm so excited about it. So some of us have it, some of us do not. Yeah. I am very excited that I have it, because now I get a chance to go and like tell these stories that I think are going to be fucking fantastic.
Exactly. Right. And you know what? A lot of people, man, you hit it right on the head, because your comedy is a storytelling vibe. And you know, I'm not a comedian. I don't know the lingo and the jargon to put on it, but I hear your comedy, and it's a story, and you put it perfectly, because it's a combination of Bill Cosby's story and his story. Because Pryor's a storyteller. You dig?
Yes.
And now, when you say also some, you know, your moniker, you mentioned narcissist. Yes. You are probably, in my opinion, brother. Okay, over history, we had Archie Bunker, an incredible narcissist and asshole on TV. Then we had Sherman Hemsley that came along. Yes. You know, okay, so we grew up learning and seeing the comedy of narcissism.
Through those eyes.
Of an asshole, okay? But now David Arnold, I believe you're also carrying that genius of a comedy torch. How do you make that work, brother?
I've never been so honored to be called a narcissistic asshole in my life. And you know what it is? I think that what it is that you pull from a space that is a bit of you and a lot of what you know people think.
Yeah.
So you say it. Even if it's like, here's the thing. If people watched all of my videos, there's been people who made these comments on my page. We so sick of you talking about how you pay for everything. We got that you, like, people say that, right? We know that you think Julie should be cooking and that.
Right.
People don't realize, like, there's times like I've come home from work and I've been at the studio all day, and I'll come home after 10 hours and I won't even make it back to my office. I'll put my bag down and start cleaning the kitchen after my wife made dinner, sweeping the floor, mopping, you know, putting it this, like, because the things that I put out, that's why I say I have that in me.
Right.
But I also have another side in me.
Bingo.
Do you think like what would be? It was really all of
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's right. That's why I use the term the genius of being able to deliver that. That's not easy. That's not easy. But the ones that will do it, they are still iconic. I mentioned Aaron Hemsley and
Archie. What was great about those characters, this is what was great about those characters, and we talked about this the other day when we were discussing a television show. What was great about those characters, while they were narcissistic, while they might have been assholes for all intent and purposes, they did two things, or they had two character traits that made all of that palatable. Mm-hmm. They took care of their families, and they loved their families. You knew that Archie Bunker loved Edith, and he loved his daughter. Right. Loved her enough to accept the man she was married to that he couldn't stand. That's love. People don't understand that. Sherman Hemsley loved Wheezy, he loved Lionel, and he loved Florence.
He did.
He loved him. He took him. He talked shit and complained the entire way through.
Yeah.
But nobody messed with those families. This is what people don't understand. I grew up with, and this is the thing now. We live in a time where, it's woman time. Me Too, and all the women are, it's their turn. We've been shitting on women for years, and it's time for them to, Ipa and Issa and Lena and all the women need to speak, and which is fine. Mm-hmm. But what I do feel like they're doing, not they, the people I named, the society, they're overcorrecting. Because they're gonna try to do is wipe out everything. I don't, and Beyonce, they all need this march. I don't need a man, bitch. I'll pay all that shit.
Right to the left,
all that right. And they got bitches out here fucking nigga. I don't.
I got it.
Okay, we understand you have been treated poorly, been wrong, but don't act like we ain't shit and you don't need us now, because don't do that. And that's how I feel. And this is what my grandfather was the funniest dude I knew.
Wow.
He sent our entire family through college with an 8th grade education.
Go ahead, man.
And I've never seen him wash a dish.
Okay.
Never. I've never seen him sweep the floor. I've never seen him fold a fucking piece of clothes. Never. He was not an asshole about it.
I got you.
But what I also saw, my grandmother did that. And a lot of people go, that was 40 years ago. But the difference is they're buried next to each other right now. Some of these bitches out here are going to die alone.
Okay.
You understand? You can't have all the attitude and think.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's just, everybody come.
And the line just lit up with yes, sirs from male and female.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think there needs to be a balance.
Okay.
You can't, there can't be guys out here that act like women ain't shit and they just here to be ran through. You will die alone with one leg because ain't nobody here to give you your diabetes medicine, because this bitch was the only one that was going to do it.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't be acting like you don't need nobody, or you're going to be out here changing tires on the side of the road by your goddamn self.
Right.
The balance. So when I play that role and I do that, it's fun pushing those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I realize that there's a balance. So I don't mind being considered that, because at the end of the day, my wife in that other room is taken care of.
Right on.
She got choices.
That's right.
We in lockdown, but she out there on the deck looking at the pool. She doing all right.
Gotcha. You know what? And I got to get Dave. That was the answer. I didn't know. I didn't ask the question. It hit me, but I didn't ask it with an answer in my mind, because but you I mean, like you mentioned, all of them. Red Fox, love the son. You know, Fred Sanford.
Yes,
So it was like, you know, premier. But this is and I talk comedy right now.
Okay.
Which I have so much respect for. Number one, I'm Black. Number two, grew up with with parents who felt the same way, like millions of other parents felt the same way. We were proud when we saw our Black comedians on at the front of Jet and television shows, whole nine, right? So with the history, present, and future of Black comedy, brother, what is there a plight of Black? Because I've heard this in the wind. I've heard it from other Black communities that there's I don't know, Black comedy is, you know, the struggles of trying to go to. Is there? I just want to set the record as a non-comedian that there's a feeling that Black comedy in the whole picture of Black comedy, that it's not to a level that other Black comedians think it should be. Does that make, that's the best way I can describe it. Whether it's media exposure, whether it's hit television series, whether it's before Netflix specials, is there a plight to Black comedy?
You know what? My short answer to that is I don't know if there is, but this is what I know. I know that, like, we just named some big television characters that we loved and respected. Two of them were Black.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, we have examples. We're a complex group of people because we love watching women fight and argue on Atlanta Housewives. We love that ratchet bullshit. Okay. We love it. Obviously, we love it because they made a whole genre of entertainment just off of niggas arguing and fighting. Like, literally, they have done that. So what white people doing? They got white women doing it now. Mm-hmm. You know, Orange County. And then you have shows that, you know, you get shows that somebody like Kenya Barris, who's rattled off all the mixishes and the blackishes and all these. And then you got Bill Cosby. And then when Bill Cosby came out with the Cosbys, we criticized him because no Black family looks like that. And like we asked for something, we get it, and then we criticize it. Tyler Perry said something that was very true, and I learned this from working with him for the 3 years that I wrote Meet the Browns and House of Pain. You can tell his own stories. You tell your stories, and those who gravitate to your stories that believe and understand, they will come and watch. Those who don't, won't. You know what I mean? I don't know that there's a plight, or I don't know that there's a, you know, we should be bigger than we are. I feel like we're going to put content out, and we're going to support it if it's good. I think that there's things that come out that is not for me. I don't watch anything just because it's Black. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that they're working. Yeah. But if they don't talk to me, I don't watch it. Because I'm not going to sit there in pain and watch some bullshit just because everybody's Black. And I don't expect people don't watch my shit who think that it's not good. It's corny. This nigga fake ass Mike Epps. I done heard it all. I don't deal with none of that.
Gotcha, brother.
You put your stuff out, and the people that like what you do will find you, and the people that don't like what you do will keep it moving. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I feel like we're such a diverse group of people. We have many stories to tell. Some of us are very rich. Some of us are very poor. Some of us have a light-skinned life, a dark-skinned life, whatever categories you want to cut it up in. But don't, because it might not be your life, don't cut it up and dismiss it. Just let it be and move on. And go support and be a part of the shit that does speak to you. But don't shit on the stuff that don't, because most people's stuff that they're speaking from their personal experience. A lot of people have said to me, you know, I've been through the whole thing. I've lost many television opportunities out here because the Black industry said I did not look like what they thought a Black man should look like. And so I was fired from my first TV show, Black Men Revealed, that I did on TV One, because they said I don't look like what a black man should look like. And they brought in 2 dark-skinned brothers, and they did the second season of the show. The ratings dropped in half, and they canceled the show. So when people make this light-skinned, dark-skinned, the black, like you just don't, you just go, don't discredit my experience because I don't look like you. Our experiences can be different, but I don't discredit yours. We should not do that to each other. We should support what we like to do. What you don't like, you don't support, but you ain't got to shit on it.
Right on, man. Right on. Bravo, bravo. If we had a button or if we could pan to a standing ovation, there are so many people that are doing that right now from that answer. Number one, because it's from the heart. It's from your experience.
It's true.
From who you are. It's real, When you mention that whole, what's going on in our own community, there's no way, and it happens in the music part of the artistry as well. There's a lot of music that does not feed my soul. Right. Especially a lot of the new music. It doesn't feed me, but I will never crap on another artist's expression of music.
Right.
But like you said, I don't have to buy it, but I still don't have to.
Right.
I don't still have to talk about them negatively as well. So, Dave, with that, man, and I thank you for taking your time today, but as much as you are comfortable with, I want to preface this next question with a overall or umbrella of respect that you brought up earlier about your next net, the dark times of David Arnold, and how now you're at you are self-centered enough to bring that not only to the public, but also to make your genius of what we just talked about, the comedy of it all. Now, Dave, what did you go through, man? What were the dark times?
Well, I've been on, what's the date today? The 2nd of May?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, May 2nd. So I will, on May 5th, in 3 days, I've been sober for 23 years. And like, this is, thank you. This is the journey of that, that I want, that I'm some of the stories that I'll tell and bring to the stage. Now, here's the thing. This is what I love about this interview, people. Vic has known me since I've been on cocaine. Okay, let me just start with that. So when Vic said, "Dave, what's the dark times? Tell me about this, nigga." You know that I pawned so many TVs that Vic would come over and the TV would be gone and they just wouldn't even blink. Like, if you walked into a regular person's house and the main TV in the living room, and remember back then, these big ass TVs had the big back. Oh, remember the big back? Remember that? You couldn't even, it had the biggest back. I would pawn this TV every other month. And they would just come to the house and sit down and be like, "I guess we talking today because ain't no TV." Like, this is where I was.
I got you, brother.
And it's so crazy to me to look back at who I used to be.
Right.
And this is the thing. And to be able, like I said before, I have gotten to a place in my life where I'm able to find the comedy in these moments, which were the darkest moments of my life. Your brother, who is my brother, who I love to death.
Yeah.
Your family took me in at the end of my addiction, if you will, and made room for me in their lives. And I took advantage of that at times. I have been forgiven by your family. I have been loved by your family. And there is nothing that brings me more joy than to be able to see your dad and see your sister and your brother and everybody and know that the love that was extended to me, I made good on.
Oh man, no doubt.
Because the prayers, the help, the grace that had been given to me was not done in vain.
No, brother, not at all.
And for me, if you've been through drug and alcohol addiction, you realize that you're inside. It's like being inside of a suit, a bodysuit that you can't control. Your mind is going, nigga, this ain't you. Why are you doing this? But your body is just in, you're in a different mode. And so like to be in a place now where I'm sitting here in my house, my daughters and my wife are in the other room. Like I told you, the other day I was outside, I was washing my cars.
Yeah.
And just hit me that in a few weeks, I'll be sober 22 years. Nobody in this house has ever known me to drink, to use drugs, none of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm a different person. I'm a different person than I was before, but I respect the person inside of me.
There you go.
I'll never forget who he is.
Come on, man.
Because the moment you turn your back on that nigga that's laying dormant, that's sleeping there, he can awake. If you decide to awaken him, if you don't respect it, you awaken him and, everything goes to shit. Yeah. So like for me, to have walked that road, been down that road, come through that and do it in a business that's all around partying.
Yes.
It's fantastic to be in this space, and even more incredible and exciting to share these stories, like the story that I just told you about the TV. Like, yes. I'm so excited to tell that story.
Man, you're giving me flashbacks. Because you're right.
It's so who steals the TV from the main living room? Not a bedroom TV, not the basic, the main. That was a piece of furniture. That's like taking a couch.
I remember coming and Chris would be like, yo, man, I'm making somebody who's going to sit here and talk. It's like, okay, right on, man, let's go. But these are my brothers, and I'm there, man.
Oh my God. It's so ridiculous. And those, literally, Vic, I've been sitting here in the last few days writing down all of these moments, because people have always said, Dave, you gotta talk about your drug addiction. That shit is the stuff that's going. And I was like, I will when I know how to do it.
Right.
When I get to a place of a stand-up and a storyteller that I'm ready to tell those stories and do justice to those stories.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And now, after this special, I just got a deal to do my next stand-up special.
Fantastic. So, Netflix again? Netflix?
Yeah, we'll probably end up at Netflix again. Yeah.
Right. Now I know you and Kevin Hart, man, are like, yes. It's a brotherhood there. And before I go there, you gave me a flashback on the premiere Netflix one. Okay, Fat Ballerina, when you go into the story of the ice and the friend. Now, can we set the record who that was?
That's your brother.
That's my brother, Chris Brooks, And remember
that nigga.
The whole ice bit we watched it together. I was on the phone, and we watched it, and we kind of had like a little family party watching of it.
Right.
And when that came up, we screamed how that, being able to bring those beautiful memories and stories together of life, of family, of like you say, the dark side of it all. Man, I just wanted to give a shout out for that story, how well you put that story together. But with the whole thing of Kevin Hart and the brotherhood and relationship professionally, brother, what's on the Hart Arnold plate right now? Or can you say?
Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. I say this and preface it all by, this is Hollywood, and everything, changes in an instant. Like as soon as I get off this phone, they could call me and be like, yeah, they all said no, and it's over. Like, you don't never know. But that's what makes you hesitant to talk about things. But I'll put it out there, and I'll say this now because this thing is moving forward a little bit more, and this is the first time I've ever said this. The information I'm about to give, I've never put out in any other interviews. But Kevin is on board doing everything with me again. Fantastic. And I'm doing another special, and I guess it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks after my stand-up special came out. I get a call from Lena Waithe, and Lena's talking to me about my special, and she's very blown away by what she saw. And I text Lena and asked her, I said, could you do me a favor and just post on your Instagram to tell people to watch my Netflix special? So she did it just purely on the strength of me and her knowing each other. We're not great friends. We just know each other. And she said that when she posted that a clip I gave her from the special, all the comments, the hundreds of comments that people were saying, thank you, Lena, for this. This guy is hilarious. This is great. It made her go watch the special. Because she's like, I just posted it because you're my boy. Right. She said, but then I was talking to all my fans, and it was like, this shit is, so she said, I always knew you was funny, so I went back and watched it. And long story short, she is now going to be the person that produces my next stand-up special along with
Wow. Right.
So it's her production company, Hillman Grad, is in association with Heartbeat. They've now come together, and we just locked down a Black female director that's going to direct the stand-up special. Okay. And we've been doing this. All this stuff has been happening over the last 2 weeks. And I'm so excited about working with her and Kevin. And all of us were on a Zoom call about 2 weeks ago. And Kevin and Lena have never worked together. And my manager was like, I just want to make a point that Lena and Kevin are about to do something together. These are two big, huge powerhouses, and this is happening because of David Arnold. And I thought, wow, this is very dope. I didn't look at it like that. So I'm very excited about the way that we're about to do this next special. We're going to do it, and it's going to be a hybrid of a stand-up special and like a they're calling it a docu stand-up special, where there will be moments where we will be weaving some behind the scenes stuff like you see in my family on Instagram. Yeah. My stepfather who sang with the OJs, who I talk about, we're gonna weave in the people that you hear me talk about. We're gonna weave in moments of them into it. So it's going to be very dope. Yes. We're doing that, and now we're redeveloping the TV show that they passed on 3 years ago. Lena has brought that back, and now we're about to go out and see if we can sell that again. So
now, is that having with
me and Kevin and Lena are literally working on these things.
Right on, bro.
Huh?
Life with Dave?
Does that have anything? No, this has to do with the bit that I do in my in Fat Ballerina called "Divorce Saved My Marriage." It's the story that we wrote. Okay,
gotcha.
So we're going back out, and we rewrote it, brother.
I want to give up love and respect to one of my favorite people, Auntie Barbara. Aunt Barb, I love you. I love you. I love you. She is. And if you've ever had the opportunity to be around Aunt Barb, you see where a lot of Dave's timing, just natural, just there. I mean, she's quick, smart as a whip, beautiful sister, you know, and I love you so much, Aunt Barb. And you and your mom right now are doing like an Instagram thing together, or what's that?
We did. Me and my mother we did an Instagram live. I call it Conversations with My Mom. I did it I think like 2 weeks ago on Instagram, and it just exploded. And I put it up on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, which is David Arnold, David A. Arnold. If you guys, anybody who's watching and people who want to see some of the stuff that Vic is talking about, if you go to my YouTube channel, David A. Arnold, or here, David A. Arnold on Facebook, or, you can see it, but that's where it lives. And it did so well that we're going to do it once a month now. But it was just me. My mother she's real.
She's real.
Transparent. Yes. And like those things just really worked and came across, and it murdered, man. And I was like, wow, we got to do this again. Yeah, and man, when we went live, I think we had like 800 people watching us at one time. And we maintained that number the whole time. So it was kind of dope, to see her. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, the family dynamic, and much respect to your wife, my sister Julie, man, who's a journalist in her own right. Her interviews with the celebrity arena here in Hollywood. Much respect, sister Julie. And those princesses that you're raising, them baby girls, man. Dave, I love you, man. I'm so proud of you.
I love you too.
You're my family, man. And thank you for giving us who you are today, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. I love you. I appreciate it.
You got it, brother. Hey, y'all. Every Saturday and Sunday. This will be the last weekend we're doing 2 and 2. Next weekend we're doing one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and but we're still coming at you every single weekend. And my brother just gave me a little more fluid there to say, no, don't stop the Facebook Live, don't stop the live thing, keep it going. And I listen to wisdom when it's thrown at me, y'all, especially when you're going at it like Brother David Arnold is. And you know what? Today later,
right.
Come on,
keep it going.
At 3 o'clock Pacific, we have the industry icon himself, Mr. Clifton Davis, who will be here at 3 o'clock today Pacific. We're talking about his theater history, his music history, his journey with the ups and downs of his dark times as well, and how he arose from that, like David just so openly shared with his life. I love your Facebook family. Y'all got to come back and keep getting some of this positivity on you. Just wipe your face with it. Take a shower on it. Let it drip off of you. And then pass it on to somebody else. Much love, much respect. Nice. Peace, y'all.
Thank y'all. Peace, y'all.